What's up guys, Misha here from Beyond the Huddle and welcome to another video. And today we're going to be taking a look at Solana. Now Sol has been one of the coins that's gone up a couple thousand% last year, but just like every other coin out there, ever since about mid-November we've been seeing a pretty deep retracement in the market, and we saw Sol drop from its highs around 260, which was the all-time highs, dropped about 68%, and now we've reached down into the 80s. So this $80 area is going to be a very important area for Sol, and I'm going to go into the chart and show you guys exactly what we could potentially expect from this area. And then we'll also take a look at the SOLBTC chart, and I'm going to show you guys one of the reasons why Sol has been underperforming Bitcoin. So without further ado guys, let's go ahead and let's get this video started. Alright guys, so before we even get into the Solana chart, let's first check up on our USDT bias indicator that we're looking at right here on Bitcoin. And as you guys can see, we have been above this zone right here. We've used it as support multiple times, and that could have been the basis for you to start looking for potential buying opportunities across the board on the USDT crosses. Now, whether these buying opportunities were short-term buys or you think this is an actual bottom, that's a completely different story. But nevertheless, you should expect some type of bullishness on USDT crosses based on this level right here being respected on Bitcoin. So now that we understand that, we should potentially expect bullishness for this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Solana chart. Alright guys, we are now looking at the Sol USDT chart. And first thing you guys will notice is I have my volume profile on here, and this is our BTH volume profile, which is a multi-time frame volume profile that allows us to see profiles for time frames that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see using the regular TradingView volume profile. And this right here, I'm looking at a daily time frame, and I am looking at a yearly profile. So this is 2021's volume profile, and you guys can see we have a value area high right here. And sometime during this month, Solana actually went down below last year's value area high. So we're now within last year's value area, and you guys can see that once you went back below that value area, there was no support until we got to this demand area right here. Similarly, if we were to break this demand area around the $80 zone, there is no support until we reach down into this point of control right here. So breaking this down and looking at a quarterly profile, so now I'm looking at profiles for every quarter, we can see that there actually is no support on the quarterly either until we go down into this area right here. So we're looking at Sol potentially dropping if we break this area, and I'll go over how we can figure out whether or not this area is going to hold. So if it were to not hold, we could potentially see a drop of about 64 to 70% on Sol. That's on top of the already 68% retracement that we have seen so far. Now, if I go down into a 4-hour time frame and I look at my monthly profiles, you guys can see that we're seeing some confluence here with this daily demand zone right here. We have the value area high from August of 2021, and we also have the point of control right in the middle of our demand area. So that's a good sign. So now, if we want to see whether or not Sol is going to hold on this area, we're going to have to go down into our lower time frames. Because right now what we've done is we've looked at the bigger picture, we've looked at the yearly profile, we've looked at a demand area on our daily time frame, and we've looked at quarterly and monthly profiles, and we've seen confluence with this demand area. Now we're going to go down into our lower time frames and kind of see how price is developing, whether or not price is potentially bottoming out, or if we're still looking bearish on the lower time frames. So first off, we're on a 1-hour time frame here, and I'm looking at weekly profiles now. And looking at last week's profile, we can see that last week's value area low is right here, and we've tried going back below that value area low and bear trending, which is not what you want to see if you want to be bullish. And every single time price has failed to continue below that value area low. Now that's a good sign. But right now we are still within last week's value area, meaning we're in the consolidation phase within that value area. In order for us to be bullish on this, we're going to have to bull trend and go above the previous week's value area high. So we're looking at a price of about $125. This is going to be a key area for Solana. Also, we definitely do not want to go back below this value area low right here, which is at about $88. Now, to go down to an even lower time frame, and kind of see what's actually going on right this second, we can see that we are looking at a 15-minute time frame right now, and we're looking at 3-day profiles. So each of these profiles represent a 3-day candle, and we can see that recently on this current 3-day candle, we've used the previous 3-day value area low as support, and we have rallied up to the previous 3 days value area high. Now we're very, very close to the weekly open right here, and in order for us to go back above the value area high of the previous week, we first, which is at 125, we first need to go back above the value area high of the previous 3-day, which is at about $96, and we're also going to need to go back above the weekly open. So this area right here is going to be key, because once we can break back above this area, we can see that there really isn't any resistance above us until we get to the previous week's value area high. So these are going to be the levels that we're going to be paying attention to. And this is what's going to guide us in being able to figure out whether or not Solana is going to bottom out from here. So as long as we can stay above this area and we can keep breaking value area highs, we're definitely headed towards the upside on Solana. And we could potentially be targeting areas like this supply area right here. So we can mark this out. We have a supply area here. I'll make this red. And we also have our yearly open right here, so which is the quarterly and the monthly open as well. So these are the areas that we could potentially be targeting to the upside on Solana as we keep breaking value area highs. And you guys can see this supply area is pretty close to last week's value area high. Now, I also promised you guys that I was going to show you why Solana has been underperforming Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and take a look at the SOLBTC chart, which is right here. And you guys will see I'm looking at the same exact things here. I'm looking at my volume profile, and this is the yearly value area high right here for SOLBTC. And you guys will notice that we opened above last year's value area high, which is a good thing. But immediately after we open, if I go to my 4-hour time frame, and this is the importance of matching up the lower time frames with the higher time frame, because the higher time frame gives you the bigger picture, but the lower time frame is gonna allow you to catch the reversals before the higher time frame can even show those reversals, right? Or at least confirm those reversals. So right now we can see that the previous month's value area low, which was December, is right here. And you guys will see that as soon as the month opened, we went below this value area low with an aggressive move to the downside, which is exactly what you'd expect. And then we saw retracement, swing high, swing low, premium retracement, and then price completely tanked. If we go and look at our quarterly, you guys will see that this big down move right here happened as soon as we went back below that quarterly value area low. And that's when we saw the big move to the downside. And we also can tell that there is no support until we get down into this daily demand area right here. Now, if we go back into our 1-hour time frame right here, we can see that right here we are also below last week's value area low. So what is that telling me? Well, that is telling me that SOLBTC is bearish, and that's also telling me that if I want to be a buyer of something, I'd rather be a buyer of Bitcoin rather than being a buyer of Solana. So this right here that I just showed you guys explains why Bitcoin has been why Solana has been underperforming compared to Bitcoin, because the moment we go below these value area lows, which we did on a monthly basis and we also did on a quarterly basis, that's when we have what we call a bear trend, and we're going to get those aggressive moves to the downside. So in order for us to see a reversal on Solana, we're going to have to go back above this value area low right here from last week. And how can we figure out whether or not we're on track to do so? Well, we're going to look at our 3-day profiles. Again, we're always looking at a lower time frame to figure out whether or not we're going to be seeing a reversal, right? Because you're not going to be able to see those reversals straight off of the higher time frame. It's going to take too long, so you have to go down into the lower time frames to see the microstructure of the market and how things are developing. So right now we can see similar thing. We are hitting the previous 3 days value area high, so we're going to have to go back above that. As long as we stay within that, we're in a consolidation phase. But the moment we go back above that, then we can potentially start targeting for that previous week's value area low, and then we can start looking for higher prices. But as long as we stay below last week's value area low, and we're also rejecting the 3-day value area high, then we're going to be bearish on Solana BTC, which means you would be better off being in on BTC. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys get some value from this. hopefully you guys understand the importance of identifying whether or not you're bear trending, because when you are, you guys can see right here, you get massive moves to the downside. And you also, that you guys understand the importance of looking at the lower time frame to kind of pinpoint exactly the microstructure of the market and figuring out where the market is potentially turning around. So if you guys get value from the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're not already, click the notification bell so you can get notified. And if you're interested in getting access to the volume profile indicator right here, or you want to learn how we trade, there's going to be links down below in the description where you guys can check this stuff out. We have a 7-day free trial for indicator suite, and also we have a link to our Discord server, which is completely free to join. So if you guys want to hop in our Discord server, interact with us, interact with other traders, talk crypto, charts, etc., go ahead and check that out. Would love to see you guys in the community. And with that said, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.